Good evening, everybody, or shall I say good morning, because it's 3 a.m. in good old New York. Hi, everyone. It's Christy Korth here with you guys tonight from Happy and Healthy TV. And tonight we're going to be filming another segment of 100 Days of a Girl with Lyme documentary. Today is day 8. So I'm going to dedicate today's conversation to something that might sound a little peculiar, but I think it's something that needs to be touched upon, particularly, obviously in the Lyme community. So, today's topic is loving your Lyme. Yeah, I just said it. Love a disease that is, financially cripples people, physically cripples people, emotionally can cripple people. The amount of ways that we know Lyme disease can be devastating is huge. But I wanted to bring this up particularly because, I'm a firm believer in making lemonade out of my lemons. So I did the same thing with Crohn's disease. It became my career. It became an award-winning book for me. It became my life. It became my mission in life. So I could have turned around and folded and just completely given up in that situation. But I'm one of those people that looks at the bigger picture and I want to find a solution to problems rather than slapping a Band-Aid on it, because I don't believe that that works, as you guys know. So what do I mean when I say love your Lyme? Well, I think to try to treat your body in a very loving way, in a very respectful way to the ordeals that people have gone to, the emotional trauma, the physical trauma, the whole gamut, and go back and see what is Lyme trying to teach you. I call Lyme my greatest teacher. I just had done writing a segment for my 4th book, which is on Lyme, and that will be the Lyme Disease Healing Plan and Recipe book. And one of the things I talked about was Crohn's disease to me, when I had figured out kind of what was making me flare up and then other people flare up, and then that turned into a wonderful book. I call Crohn's disease my preschool education, because I can't believe how difficult that disease was, but compared to Lyme disease, I say Lyme disease gave me a PhD, and not only just understanding physiology, anatomy, bio, neuro, nutrition, everything that psychology as well, everything that I've always been interested in, all kind of put into one little package. So, I would say knowledge is power, so the more we know, the better off that we are. But to find a place where you can say, listen, this disease is not, per se, a curse in my life. And I know that, again, this is going to sound crazy. This is coming from somebody who lost a corporate job as a result of not being able to fulfill my obligations and duties as a very high-level nutritionist in that company. So that was a devastating blow. But again, it was a business decision. I get it. I own a business. Totally understand that. Doesn't mean it didn't hurt. So that definitely can be a blow for someone. Not being able to do things you want to do, like being bedbound or having to modify your life. Just in speaking with a couple of people this week, one, my dear friend Amanda, who's up in Canada, who has Lyme, we just talk about, well, what really matters in this particular situation? We're either going to love the disease and push love and just put that out there to the universe and just kind of be in that regard, or you can be negative and just horrible and just like, I hate this, I'm going to give up. And not to say that you shouldn't have those moments. Everybody has those moments. We're all human, right? I have them. You have them. Anybody with Lyme, I think, or people that are close to somebody with Lyme would suffer from dealing with that. But I think that the only way that you can really heal is to come to a place of, acceptance. For me, acceptance was knowing right now, at least, that I don't want to say I'm limited or I can't do something. Can't is not allowed to be my vocabulary, but I look at it from the perspective that, okay, I can do some of the things that I used to do. Let me find other things that I can do that maybe it's a little bit easier for me. And I'm just going to pass on that love to that disease, because when I really sit there and think about it, working 3 jobs prior to me being sick, I was doing everything I wanted in my career, but my life was just not balanced. In addition to the fact that once I got sick, I finally realized, geez, I haven't seen my family in 6 years. I've been working so much. It was just pretty crazy. So I look back at that and say Lyme brought a lot of love into my life through family, friends, romantic relationships, so on and so forth. So I can never say enough how valuable that has been to me. It's more valuable than any amount of money that I made at any of my crazy, wonderful, elaborate jobs. Yes, of course, you need money in order to function and make the world go round, and with Lyme for treatment and things, but there are a lot of people out there trying to help. I just had a nice conversation yesterday with Greg Kirk, who is the founder of the Tickdoll Foundation, who does a lot of non-for-profit work and helps people out with getting supplements and things like that. My cat has decided to join us. This is Precious. Precious likes to sit with me, and evidently she likes you guys because she is marking her territory all over my phone. What is she doing? I think my cat thinks she thinks I'm talking to her, and then doesn't realize I'm talking to a screen, so she doesn't understand what's going on. That's another thing too. Pets, people that you love. I know that my cat has been so good. God bless her. She's gonna be 14 next month. She's still going strong, and there have been a lot of times where I feel like horrible heart palpitation. She just comes and lays on my chest. She knows. Or if I'm sick and I'm throwing up, she'll follow me in the bathroom and things like that. She's a good girl. So I try to look at funny enough that I have this heart over my head behind me, but try to look at my disease from a place of love. What did this do for me in a positive manner? Treating patients, having Crohn's initially, I would get a lot of patients that would say they only wanted to come in to see me because I understood the disease physically, personally, and that was definitely true. But now, because I've been diagnosed with so many other conditions that coincide with my Lyme, geez, there's like almost no patient I can't relate to at this point. It's just, it really has given me this stellar education and something I never thought I would. I always knew I would expand my knowledge, of course, but really has helped me with that. Again, with Greg with ticked off, I apologize when Precious came over. I lost my train of thought. You guys know that happens to me. Excuse me. Greg is amazing. Again, he's out there in the trenches helping people. He usually does a benefit concert once a year. Actually teaming up with him, doing nutrition counseling and some Reiki healing. And why do I talk about that? Well, I can only do my best as a nutritionist and a life coach to help somebody get to where they need to go. But if you still have that negative energy bubble floating around you, that's not going to help anything. We know that thinking negatively negates the immune system's power to fight off infection and illness and things like that. So it's no surprise that there are tons of studies that come out that talk about how people wind up with cancer who think negatively most of the time. So, I mean, I can give you an example of the day in the life of Christy. I had gone to my cardiologist this morning. An appointment got completely messed up. I was supposed to go for a stress echo. That didn't happen. Long story short, I could have sat there and yelled at the receptionist or the cardiologist, or the fact that I had to hire childcare so I could be at an appointment very, very early this morning. But you know what? I didn't skip a beat. I left. I took care of what I had to take care of with patients. I was able to spend some time with my brother and do some personal training stuff. I'm really lucky. Nutritionist who has a brother who's a personal trainer, and my best girlfriend is a personal trainer. So, again, I look at my life, okay, it has changed a lot. There are days where I can't get up and do things. There are days when I can. So I really just look at every single day, every minute as a good thing. Honestly, like, I have a friend of mine, Mo, who says any day above ground is a good day. Yeah, or any day somebody doesn't die is a good day. That rocks. So we really just start to look at life in a different perspective, and you appreciate the little things. Again, I thought so many things that were important to me that were superficial, at this point, really just are just not important to me anymore. So Lyme really taught me a lot. It gave me an education on how the human body works. It gave me an education on how to go back and look within yourself and really do anything you can for personal development, self-improvement, but also religiously and spiritually. How did this affect me? And I can tell you, I'm spiritual and I'm religious, and I tell everyone all the time, I don't care what you believe in. Hugging a tree and Mother Nature makes you happy. I don't care. But I think it's good to have some sort of belief in something, just to make sure that you have something behind you to more or less support yourself through a really difficult time. And that's been a key thing for me, I have to tell you guys. It really has been a key thing, is having that spirituality, that faith there, and knowing that I can beat this. And that's half the attitude right there. It's no surprise to me that the patients that I've seen that have more of a negative or pessimistic attitude, don't wind up getting better. And that makes sense, because the person is stuck in this place where they're negating having that positive energy coming in where they can get better. So again, kind of have to love the Lyme. I know that sounds so weird, but it's so true. Lyme did a lot of really great things for me. It did some horrible things, but if I choose to focus on the horrible, again, that's not going to help me get better. So takeaway for tonight, guys, is really just to look at, stuff with the law of attraction. Tony Robbins is awesome. Wallace Wattles, I love. Michael Beckwith. There's all kinds of people that are out there that promote these great messages. You really listen to them, and certainly know that you're not the only person suffering from this. There are children with this. I have a child who passed away from this. My daughter passed away and died from congenital Lyme and complications that arose from that. I can either choose to look at that as a negative thing, or I can look at that as a positive thing. And that, again, might sound crazy to people, but how do you think you cope with something like that and move forward? So if I can do it, anybody can do it. I tell people I'm still not 100% well. I probably will never go back to doing what I was doing before. I choose not to, actually. Having 3 jobs and then being a single mother, taking care of my child. While I loved all the things that I was doing, it was just too much. So I go back and I look at Lyme. It kind of taught me something. It knocked me on my ass and said, well, hey, listen, money is not everything. Working your butt off to the point where you have no free time at all is not everything. Family is everything. Friends are everything. Love is everything. Love is huge. And just talking with Amanda about this, and people like Greg are putting that love out there where they're trying to help people as much as they possibly can. You can check out the Ticked Off Foundation, and get in contact with Greg. He's really fantastic. We've got my dear friend Rosie Fusco, who's out there. She's going through stuff on her own, and she's still helping other people. I love that woman. Little Lyme Laughter is her Facebook group, and she's got several others. So, again, tonight really just a big focus on is really loving what Lyme has taught you. Another thing that I've seen with patients, just to bring up quickly, is that when we have parasites or fungus or bacteria, particularly when it's floating around in the brain, I've heard people perseverate over and over and over again on their symptoms. And again, I get that, because a lot of times people don't feel validated with Lyme, and that stinks, so there's no love coming from that, right? In addition to that, you're kind of shunned by the medical community, so you've got all of these things counteracting you having a positive experience, where somebody's saying, yes, I understand what's going on. Okay, well, now how are we moving forward? So when I say to be positive, I have to tell you, it's probably the hardest job in the whole world to stay in that mode. But if you can keep yourself there, man, are you in good shape? Because if you believe you're going to get better, you will. This is proven science, guys. We're talking about metaphysics. I'm not just spitting out ridiculous bullcrap stuff to you. This has been well researched. And why do you think people that come through really horrible situations? Because they believe that they're going to get through it. I think a lot of support is needed for that. If you don't have a good support system, join an online support group. There's some really wonderful groups that are out there all over Facebook, live groups. If you check out ilads.org, they have listings for groups as well. And, get that support. Laughing, like we talked about in our first video, is huge, 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 huge. There are many times that I laugh at the things that happen to me throughout the day, because, again, I always think, God forbid, somebody has it worse than I do, number one. And number two, I'm lucky that I woke up this morning. I found out in a sleep study that I stop breathing while I sleep now 73 times in one night, according to this one sleep study I had done recently. And typical people would be freaked out by that. I looked at it and I thought to myself, well, how am I going to work with this, and how do I now fix it? So I'm always looking for the solution. I'm not focusing on the problem. So I'm a very much out-of-the-box thinker / solution-based thinker. I think in order to love your Lyme, you need to be a solution-based thinker. You need to know that there is a solution out there. And if you listen to the law of attraction, we don't have to know what the solution is. We just have to put out to the universe that we need a solution and or what we want, or both would be even better. So that's kind of my takeaway for you guys tonight. I'm not going to do a terribly long video. Again, it's 3 a.m. in happy New York here. I hope the people down in South Carolina, North Carolina, where they have that crazy hurricane coming in, are okay. just to throw a shout out to those people down there. And takeaway today is, again, find a way to love your Lyme. What can you do that's positive, that makes you still feel good, despite the fact that maybe your life had to change a little bit because you have had this. And when I say a little bit, I don't, again, I'm kind of downplaying what really happens to us in that regard. Many things that happen that can financially, physically, emotionally devastate somebody, but that's only if you allow it to, right? People treat us the way that we allow them to be treated. It's the same thing with this disease. You are the one that calls the shots in terms of, well, what am I doing and how am I treating this? So, guys, that's going to be my takeaway for this evening, to love your Lyme. Evidently, my cat Precious, seems to either love me or Lyme. I'm thinking it's me and not the Lyme thing, but yeah, so she's visiting in on this video. If you see her little ears poking up there, and she keeps playing around with my computer. So, if you guys are having trouble finding a way to do this, you can certainly go ahead and contact me. happyandhealthywellness.com, 631-835-5003, Christy at happyandhealthywellness.com. Or you can comment on the bottom in the comment box down below if you have any questions, or if you want to know what the heck I'm talking about with Love Your Lyme. I think I gave a pretty decent explanation, but any questions, please feel free. Any comments, awesome. And we're out here to help. So I'm out in the trenches helping as many people as I can while I'm still dealing with some health issues. So nothing is going to stop me. That's the way I look at it. Rocky, Muhammad Ali, all those people are my idols when I look at how far that they came when people told them that they couldn't. Lindsey Sterling, oh, you're never going to make it. Bullshit. I got to play with her in her concert series back in August. So, it's another thing. How many people do you see playing the flute that are on oxygen? It's just funny to me. I put my mind to it, and I did it. It's been like that with my private practice. I've been very successful in that as well. So I look at it, if I can do that in my career, and I did it once with Crohn's, now I'm going to do that with Lyme disease, and I am doing it. So, living, breathing, walking proof that you can love that Lyme and not get stuck in that place where your brain is just like encephalitis is going, maybe it's meningitis, and you have brain inflammation, you're just not thinking clearly, and that's when I find people perseverate on their symptoms, rather, and they don't let love in. So, I guess that is my takeaway for today, is to let that in. Let yourself be okay with where you are, and not to beat yourself up. I tell patients all the time, don't say anything to yourself that you wouldn't say to a baby. Think about that statement for a second. You wouldn't call a baby fat. You wouldn't say a baby's ugly. You wouldn't go up to a baby and say it was stupid, or, some terrible thing like that. Look at my cat, is so funny. You wouldn't say those things. So I tell my patients not to say those things to themselves either. So, there have been times where I felt very stupid, or I had brain fog that was so bad that I just could not concentrate at all. But that doesn't mean that I can't do things to help other people, or I am not able to live a good life. It just means that I have some deficits, if you will, that need to be worked on, right? If you have a weakness, you want to turn it into a strength. So you're either going to let it make you weaker, or you're going to make it stronger. It's just like working out. Same thing. Which is kind of appropriate since I'm wearing my running shirt today. Although I am not allowed to run, but we're putting it out to the universe that I will be able to do this eventually soon. Either that, or I'll just start doing it again anyway when I'm not supposed to, because I like to do that. Very difficult patient I am. But again, that's that mentality where it's like nothing is going to get me down. I'm going to keep going. If I can't run, I'm going to walk. And if I can't walk, I'm going to crawl. So having that attitude is huge. And loving my Lyme disease. Knowing that it's been the greatest teacher in my whole life. I learned so many lessons from the bug the size of a period than anything in my whole life. So, again, appreciate you guys with the viewership. Hit subscribe below if you're interested in seeing more videos on Lyme, nutrition, and my occasional vitamin M video when I'm dancing around and I'm rocking around playing the flute. Alright guys, so again, thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to hearing from you guys soon, or seeing you guys soon. And you guys have a great evening or morning from wherever it is that you may be coming from, afternoon. Alright guys, take care. Mwah. Love you. Bye.